Last year we attended the Veronica Rocha Scholarship Cook-Off where bad weather almost knocked us out of the competition, but we managed to walk away with our first IBCA Grand Championship ever. A year later, it's time to see if we could pull off the back-to-back win. We're back at it. We're in Refugio, Texas. Last year we GC'd this event, so hopefully we have similar results. I'm hoping for the same exact results if I'm being completely honest. We're trying something completely new today. We are completely changing all of our recipes for pretty much everything. We got a new brisket injection. We actually are sticking with the same pork injection, but we have a different chicken injection as well. We're switching up all the sauces, so this is going to be really fun. Sabrina and I were talking on the way, and we're really excited about this event. So we're going to try and keep it very detailed for you guys so you get as much information as possible without us giving too much, because we do want to do some classes this year. If you guys are interested in a class, let us know down below. But I've got this pork injection, this rib injection. Let's go ahead and go right in. So we're just going in between each bone. As I do this, I can feel these ribs expanding. So even if they're a little bit shorter than you initially think, they are going to expand out as you start pumping them full of injection. So one of the other things that I'll tell you guys is this injector comes from Tractor Supply. It is a Producer's Pride or something like that. I'll put a link in the description. I actually get a lot of questions about it. And then I also put this on level 3. So there's 5 levels, and I keep it on 3 whenever I'm injecting everything. I used to kind of switch it around, but I personally don't really notice any difference whenever I'm going up and down. So I just keep it at a 3, which is right in between. So I'm running some IBP ribs this weekend. IBP is definitely one of my favorite brands of ribs. I really enjoy them. I think they just taste absolutely delicious. I've talked to you guys about it before. I think this top portion up here is really important to inject. So we're just making sure that we get in between every single one of these bones and we get some good injection down in there. Got the whole family with me today. We're going to be sleeping in the trailer, so we're actually all kind of excited about that. It's been a while since we've done this because the last couple of contests that we've done have actually been local as well. So even in Ingleside or Aransas, we actually were going home. We didn't really feel the need to sleep out there. And technically this one's probably close enough to also go home, but it is what it is. We're sticking out here today. So we're going to go ahead and call that one good. I think that's pretty well injected. You can see that all of the meat is popping up. We call that hot dogging. It looks like little hot dogs in between those bones. And I'm lying. I'm going to go just a little bit more right here. Down this one. I see a little piece of fat here that I don't like. Cut it off with shears. So we're just going to keep going. How do you think things are going to go this weekend, personally?
I think I'm more excited at this comp than I've been in a while.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I mean, Sabrina just said she thinks she's more excited at this competition than she's been in a while. And I think that I kind of know why. It's because we're doing a lot of different things, and it's a different change for us. And we're excited. We're going to take lots of notes and try and figure out what we did good, what we did bad. Hopefully we do lots of good, obviously. But I'm sure we're going to make, I don't want to say mistakes, right? But I think we're going to have a little hiccup here and there just because of the fact that we are doing stuff so differently, right? So we're excited about a little bit of a change, and I think that that's awesome for us. Some of these bones sometimes are really crooked. It makes it hard to inject, so I actually like to turn over as fast as I can just to make sure that I'm injecting properly. What I'm looking at here is I'm noticing that nothing's really fitting perfectly in my pan right now, so I'm actually going to go ahead and trim just a little bit. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually going to take this as well off. So we're going to take that off. I did just inject it, so that kind of stinks. I don't want to say I wasted injection, right? But I definitely used some. And then also here, this is just a little bit wide. So I'm going to go here. And that fits better. I like that better, right? So took a little bit off here, took a rib off, and I wanted to make sure that they fit perfectly in my pan because this is exactly how we're going to wrap them. So one of the things we have been doing differently is we did switch to a pan, and honestly it's just because it's easier and it's a lot quicker for us to get in and out with that pan. We can check all the ribs at the same exact time, and we just feel like it's optimal. So now we're going to go ahead and go over top with that base. That's our all-purpose blend. If you guys don't have that base, I highly recommend like an AP seasoning. Killer Hogs the AP would be a perfect one. We're going to put it all over these ribs. We're going to let them sit overnight, and in the morning we'll continue to season. All right, so start over the backside with that base. Same exact thing on every single rack. And then we're instantly going to flip over, and we'll do the same exact thing to the top side. Perfect. Now on to the brisket. And since I actually trimmed this with the point still being attached to the bottom of the brisket, I'm going to go ahead and inject through the bottom side as well, just so I can get that point with some of this injection. Alright, and once I'm done injecting, we're also going to do the same exact thing. We're going to go over top of this with that base. I'm going to use the rest of my injection, pour it in here. And we are completely done with our Friday night prep. We dropped the chicken in the brine, which was super simple. That's trifecta, water, a little bit of onions, maybe a little bit of this, maybe a little bit of that. That's going to be a 12-hour brine on our chicken. We'll cook those tomorrow. We'll show you exactly how we're doing that. We didn't get to do too much on our last video. I think we had a lot going on, but we will show you that chicken half tomorrow. So we're going to wake up at 6 a.m., start the pit, and then let's see how we do. 6 a.m. Today we are in Refugio, Texas, and it's time to put brisket on. So we put it all the way to the left. It's closest to my smoke collector. That's going to be the hottest area in my pit. We're going to close this down. All right, now it's time for us to go ahead and season up our ribs. We put that base on last night. We're going to go right over top of Southern Belle. And then we'll go over top with Southern Hospitality. We swapped to Trifecta a couple of comps back. And now we're going back to Southern Hospitality. We did this our last competition as well. I can't remember what place we hit on ribs, but they were really, really good. Oh, actually, that was at the World Championship, and we got a 10th place rib. So it was a really good rib call, and we did use that Southern Hospitality. So the reason we're kind of switching back and forth is because, you know, Trifecta is our newest blend. We wanted to prove that it was a good blend, and we really like it on pork in general, but we're trying to implement all the seasonings as best we can into our cook. So that's why we're going back to Southern Hospitality. We didn't want to leave it out. We think it definitely deserves to be in the lineup. So again, on top, Southern Belle. And you'll notice I'm going pretty light here. I'm a light seasoner. I don't think that this needs too much, and I also don't want it to color up too quickly, and I don't want anything to burn. So I'm going over top with a light layer of Southern Belle. Don't forget that this had that base on it all night long, so there's plenty of salt in this meat. Then a really light layer of Southern Hospitality. Season from really high above the meat if you can. It's going to get a even application on this meat, and I think everything's just going to look better for you. And then we're going to go over top of everything with Killer Hogs TX, with a really light layer of Killer Hogs TX. So you're going to see that this is pretty coarse. This is going to bring us that black pepper that we usually like in every single rib that we cook. So we're going with a light layer over top. That's all there is to it. We'll put this on here at around 20 or 30 minutes. All right, now it's time to wrap our brisket. We're gonna go ahead and pour some liquid into our pan. I'll go just a little bit more here. That should be good. Right now we're only sitting at 140 degrees. It doesn't matter what the internal temp is as of this moment. I just want to get it to 210 now, or around 210, and we'll start probing for tenderness. It's time to season chicken. Today we're using a layer of that base under the skin, then we're going on top with the layer of Southern Hospitality and Killer Hogs TX rub. All right, so now we're inside. It's time to wrap ribs. It's 9:18. We put these on at 8, so it's been right at an hour and 18 minutes. And we love the color. We're exactly where we want to be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over top of every single one of these ribs with Killer Hogs vinegar sauce. Then I'm going to go ahead and get my brush, and I'm going to paint this in a little bit. You can see I got a few little dark spots right here, and I'm thinking that's just from the actual bones. You know how it kind of comes out, sometimes it'll come out of those ribs. I flipped over the ribs just for 5 minutes, and that happened, so I'm thinking that there was some drippage or something, but it's not really worrying me too much. I'm going to go ahead and take my brush. I'm going to get that vinegar sauce all in there, and this is going to be just fine. So, all I've got in the bottom right now is my liquid wrap, and then also some butter. And then we're going to put some sugar in the raw in the liquid, and then over top as well. One of the things that I'm personally not liking too much right now is you can actually see the little granules of the sugar in the raw currently, and you'll also be able to see it in a little bit as well, because for whatever reason you'll see those little white specks all over the ribs. It's something that I've been trying to figure out. I haven't quite done it yet, so we're just going to keep doing what we do. But I am looking for an alternative to that, because if you guys ever open your wrap and you see these little specks everywhere, it's from that sugar in the raw. So just looking at this, and I'm kind of seeing that dark red, almost black purple look. I'm just getting my brush, and I'm kind of poking at it a little bit. I'm really not worried about losing seasoning here, because what I'll do is I can re-season and re-add dust in the end. I want these to look really good, so right now I'm actually trying to break up some of that darkness that I see. It's not really a worry at all, but I do want these to look really good, so let's see if we can't fix that now. It's all good. They don't look perfect, but we do want to try and make them perfect in the end. So if we can do anything now, any prep work now, I definitely want to do it. And I'm not afraid to do this either. So I'm literally kind of like hitting this off, right, with this brush. And you can see that it's getting lighter and lighter, so that's perfect. I think that's a good idea. I think that was a good idea there. We'll see if it is in the end. All right, so that looks much better to me. I'll go ahead with one more little stripe of sauce. The thing I love about this vinegar sauce is just how runny it is. It's like really, really light, thin layer. You can see even just adding a little bit of that sauce right there actually kind of fixed some of those issues we had with the gaps of color. So no biggie. I'll hit it with a little more Southern Hospitality. Just the lightest layer. There we go. We'll put this back into the smoker. We'll check it every hour or so. It's right at 9:45. We're gonna go ahead and throw our chicken on our Grilla Grills chimp. We cooked it on this in Seguin, and we really liked the way it cooked, so we're gonna try it one more time today. After 45 minutes, it's time to flip our chicken. It's 10:25 on our ribs, and now we're just checking for tenderness. I can already tell you that we're nowhere near. We're only at 182 in between the bones here, 181, so we still have plenty of time to go here, but we do want to periodically check just to make sure we're on the right path. So, not done. We're going to put these in. We'll check them in another hour, and we'll see where we're at. So it's currently 9:25. We'll check them right at 10:25. I'm sorry, it's 10:25. We'll check them at 11:25. We'll see how things are going. While we're at it, we're going to go ahead and check on our brisket. Again, it is, what, 10:30? It's still definitely not quite where I want it, so we'll check it again in 30 minutes. It's getting close, and we don't want to overcook this, but we'll check it again in 30 minutes to see where we're at. After 15 minutes of the chicken cooking skin side down, we're now going to put it into a half pan with some butter, onions, and a little bit of our injection. All we're trying to do at this point is render some of that fat under the skin just so we can get a nice bite through skin. We typically wait for the chicken to fully be cooked before we like to sauce. Today we're using Killer Hog's vinegar sauce and the barbecue sauce to mix in with the glaze that we're working on. We'll pour this all over the chicken and then let it set for around 10 minutes. It's 11:32 and our brisket is officially done. Now it's going to go into the Cambro to rest. Now we just turned in chicken and we're really happy with the results today. You can see just how juicy this other half is. I think that we nailed the texture of the skin and the chicken itself, but now it's time to turn our attention to ribs. Ribs are done cooking and now it's time to rest them in the Cambro. So we're taking the same sauce combo we used for our chicken and mixing it in with the strained au jus from the ribs. We'll also sprinkle our finishing powder on top of these ribs and then put them back into the pit for around 10 minutes just for the sauce to set. Next up is brisket. Our brisket really shrunk up on us today, but since this is IBCA, we had just enough for the perfect 8 slices. We knew that our edges were going to flake on this brisket just based off of how it reacted when we were injecting, but with a little work, we got the exact same shape and size that we were hoping for on our brisket slices. Recently with brisket, we've been slicing and adding the slice directly into the box, but today we're going back to our previous method of letting these slices sit in au jus just to stay hot and moist until it's time to box. Brisket is turned in. Now it's time to see what the judges think.